We got a question about omoplatas. They want to know, how do you flatten somebody out and finish the omoplata? So we found ourselves here, and let's just say, like, let's go over usually how it's taught. And like he's offering no real resistance. You just kind of like press your leg down. They go, oh, they flatten out enough to their shoulder, or sometimes they go flat to their bellies. Oh, thank you. And then you sit up and you finish. And then in reality, you get to about here, and you cannot make any weight in your leg, and they're throwing you back the other way, and you're getting tossed around, or they're gonna jump over you, they put their knee on you. And all that stuff happens instead of the nice flatten them out and finish it that you learned as the move. So, let's say I am determined to flatten him out. Before that, I gotta make sure all that other stuff doesn't happen. So he was driving his knee on my belly. He had also potentially, he could like jump over my whole head. He could somersault and all those things. So I need a grip on the body that will help with that. There's a couple. The belt is a common one. You have to be kind of aware that this knee is the thing that is going to get through. So you could have your elbow down so that when their knee tries to come through, you keep scooting out and not letting it. Knowing what's the trade-off. My elbow's down, he goes the other way with his leg and he steps over my head. So you have to be ready for both of those. So you have your forearm across the hip and the thigh, and you're just ready to block this way, that way. Yep, just know which one's coming. Sometimes you can just grab here. I know I let go of the wrist. If your thigh pinch is good, you should be all right for a second. And then, here's what I would do. Grab the sleeve and go stiff legs, don't even keep them triangled, flat and heavy here. So now he's gonna get a lot of weight on that shoulder. He'll probably build back up again. And then I just keep trying to scoot out and scoot out. And I can bend the outside leg, but I can keep and straighten the omoplata leg. Also, I'll put my head on the floor. I only put it up to talk to you. When I really want to make myself heavy, I do drive my head into the ground here. So when he tries to build back up again, I'm stiff leg, heavy, head, scooting. And then when I go to get up, I don't do a straight crunch here because it's slow and hard to do. I turn and I pull myself up across the body. I can grab onto things, climb my way up, and then we'll talk about finishing it another day. One little tricky grip you can try that will really flatten people out if you can get it is the end of the pants. So I'm gripping down here. I don't know if you can see, let's rotate a little bit. I'm holding the end of the pants here. And then what I'll do is turn and stretch like that. So when they try to build back up again, this long straight leg. And then from here, I can just thigh pinch. I know you're not supposed to let this hand go to the other side, but you'll get away with it for a second here. And you can do things like hold the belt, hold the pants, and then climb your way up. The hand's kind of in the wrong spot, you'll just put it back when it comes time. As long as they don't totally get to the other side and like hug your leg, you bend your arm there, you gotta squeeze my outside leg. If he doesn't, as long as that doesn't happen, you can get away with the hand being in the middle of your belly for a little bit. And once you get up, you'll push it back to where it's supposed to be. So I can get away with doing things like this, where it looks like his arm's not under enough control, but as long as he doesn't get to there, I'm okay. So then I can flatten here, grab, and then I'm going this way with my head to get up, rather than trying to go straight up. Now, what do you guys say about all this?
So, my experience, especially as a heavyweight, when my training partner over 200 pounds, and there's like a big weight discrepancy, the omoplata is great if you can force him to roll. But if you get one of those like a big guy just hunker there, it's like I don't see a point to fight that battle. So one of the things I'll do is I'll rotate this way. If we end up in this situation, right? And this guy just like hiding his arm, and he's staying tight here, and I can go up to the bedroom, come back, he's still here, he's trying to ride out the round from this spot, is I'm gonna attack this elbow. Because his elbow is very isolated here, right? So my favorite thing to do is just get an underhook here, so I'm controlling his wrist, and I'm gonna drop my knee through the hole, all the way to the mat, And now I'm gonna pinch my knees, and now I'm just gonna pull 2 hands. I'm gonna pull up, so I get the elbow, and then I drive in, and I'm gonna drive his hand this way. And it's similar to a choy bar. I like to finish from here. Some people like actually throwing this leg all the way through and finish it that way. Both of them work for you. It's like, preference. But I'm big on attacking that arm against a bigger opponent from that situation because, like Matt said, is like sometimes fighting that fight is not necessary. And one of the things we talked about, especially, is that if they're posturing up a lot from that spot and you're fighting to posture up all the time, a lot of times you can catch it by coming back into a triangle. So
Yeah. So if you're trying to drive them down that way and they drive back in, catching here and switching off.
Yep.
And then I'd say if you got good timing or heavy hips, you also have that back roll sweep.
Yeah.
I'm not especially good at it. I try, my butt's too light. But you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So I'll show it real quick. So he gets me in an omoplata, and I go up, and then he goes back and tips me over this way.
And then wow, they start attacking.
And
Yeah.
the other thing to think of is we're trying to answer the question of how do I deal with flattening someone out? And the real answer is the omoplata is a submission like a third of the time, if you're generous, if you really, really want to go for it. And the rest of the time it's a sweep, it's a transition to another submission.
It's a control position.
It's its own position that doesn't actually tap people out most of the time. You have to be just really single-minded and almost ignore better options if you want to just finish the omoplata. But in reality, you have to be willing to switch it to other things and keep it flowing.
But the one thing is, if you want a complete gi game, and especially because like no gi is a little bit different, but if I can control your sleeve and throw you an omoplata, it makes my guard a lot more dynamic because that angle of attack is really hard. Like, it's kind of like independent from the rest of your jiu-jitsu game because I'm attacking more like you're really bladed away from me. It's kind of like that, okay, like, you defended everything else, but I have an omoplata.
Yeah, because it gives you enough. So you have things that attack people when their arm goes across midline, like arm bars, arm drags. So then when people are trying to go this way and not let that happen, you got a thing that goes that way that isn't just a Kimura.
Also, it's like you're attacking something when people are really pushing. Like you can both attack when they really push her up if you're able to throw your hips up. Or there's something, it's Matt, so what I mean is this. If Matt is really pushing up and trying to get away from me, I can still throw an omoplata here. And also if Matt is doing like a really tight pass here, I can also throw an omoplata. So this makes your guard game really dynamic because you have this weapon that you can use in both a very long range situation and a very tight situation.
I'm proud of you as a white belt for trying to make an omoplata part of your game, so keep it up.